everybody, Deb here. Welcome back to my channel, Deb's Corner. I'm going to be making blueberry muffins. I want to start the series where I try out different recipes from Pinterest. Try it on here. Try it on, make sure it tastes good, and then hey guys, try it. It does taste good. I'm a big foodie, so when I say something tastes good, it tastes good. And if it doesn't taste good, I will not be putting that recipe will not be making it on here. I'm a big Pinterest user, so I get most of my recipes from Pinterest and blah blah blah. So I love Pinterest, but sometimes it's a hit or miss, right? So sometimes you may buy all the recipes, try it out, and it doesn't taste good. So I want to be that person that tries it out for you. But this is going to be a series. We're going to try it out. Doesn't mean that it may go on forever, but let's just try it out. So today I've been making this muffin for at least 6 months, and the kids love it. I love it. So I'm like, okay, it's time to share it, right? So I will be looking down every now and then at the recipe. I kind of have a rough idea of what I need, but I'll be looking down every now and then to figure out measurements and all that stuff. Now with baking, you know, measurements matter a lot. You can't just do whatever you want to. You have to actually be accurate with your measurements. So yeah, so let's get started. I love the song I Hope You Dance. Oh my god, that's my favorite song. Whenever you feel like weighted down by the world, get up some music and just dance. I hope you dance. I'm in a happy mood. I pumped myself up before this. Oh my god. So one thing I am in awe are, I'm just people that do YouTube for a living. Oh my gosh, you don't know how hard it is. I don't do it for a living, but people that do it for a living, I do this for fun, but people that do this for a living, this is hard. Just for me getting all the ingredients out to just make this muffin. Like at home when I'm not filming, I can just whip it up, whatever. I don't care about aesthetics or anything. But to actually film a video, it takes a lot. You gotta set up your camera, set up everything, bring out your ingredients, make sure you wash this, wash that. Like everything has to be ready. So when you start filming, it's ready, right? So that's kudos to all YouTubers who do this for a living. It's not easy. First and foremost, I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands because I'll be touching the tablet, and let's get started. Let me wash my hands quickly. And then, after washing my hands, the second thing I want you guys to do is to preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. So first we're gonna do the topping for the muffin. So we're gonna mix, the recipe calls for half a cup of brown sugar. By the way, I'm doubling this recipe, so I'm going to use 1 cup. It comes for half a cup. I'm going to use 1 cup because I am making toppings for basically 2 batches of muffins. So I'm going to pour in my brown sugar into my canister, and I have this clay thing on top because it keeps the brown sugar from clumping. Tip, if you need a tip, that's a tip. But yeah, so that's just called terracotta clay disc. It keeps your brown sugar from clumping. So anyway, so we have, I'm not the best recipe maker, please bear with me, we're trying Pinterest, make it interesting. So we have, oh, my stuff's about to go down. So we have 1 cup, the recipe calls for half a cup, so remember I'm doubling my recipe, so this is 1 cup of blend sugar. We're gonna add cinnamon, so it calls for 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons because like I said, we're making 2 batches, so we double the measurement. So 1 and 2. Who doesn't like cinnamon? Some people don't like cinnamon. So that's cinnamon, and then it calls for nuts. Instead of nuts, this is where you play down with the recipe. So instead of nuts, I'm gonna use oats, right? So we're gonna use oats instead of, it calls for chopped walnuts. We're going to use oats. So it calls for half a cup. I'm going to use a cup, like I said. So 1 and 2. So that's the topping. That's really it. And you just basically use your hands and mix it. It smells delicious. But I like to put butter in this because it kind of clumps it up, so I think I will put butter. So recipes are online, but I would tell you roughly I will tell you everything that you need as I go along, so I'm just listening to recipes. So again, I made my own version of the topping, so I added butter to this, didn't call for butter. Didn't call for oats, I added oats in there. You can put nuts if you want to. So what we're gonna do is similar to like when you make like a pie crust, or if you ever made a pie crust, right? You put your butter in the dry flour and you just kind of mix it in until it blends in. That's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get a clumped feel, so we just keep on mixing it in. If you grab it and put it in, you see it creates like a mold, so it's not just scattered all over the place. So that's my topping. I'm gonna set this aside. Let me kind of clean up my place and wash my hands. Let's move on to the actual muffin batter. Hey. So we're gonna mix our dry and wet ingredients. Fun times. So I'm gonna do the dry ingredients here. I always like get confused by this every time I bake. It's like, oh, which bowl do I want to be my dry and my wet ingredients? So I'm gonna use this for my wet. I'm gonna use this for my dry. I'm gonna put my wet here. Then I'm gonna dump. Actually, I lied. I'm gonna use this for my dry and use this for my wet. So when I have my wet here, it stays in here. I take my dry and dump it in here. So let's go to this. We're adding, recipe calls for 1 3/4 cups of flour. But like I said, we're doubling the recipe. So we're gonna take 2. Remember, sketchy. You're gonna take 2 cups, and then you're gonna take 2 portions of 3/4 cups, whatever that adds up to. Okay. So here we go. So we have 2 cups of flour. So when you bake, it's good to level out your dry ingredients, just to level it out so you get an exact measurement. Like I said, when you bake, measurements matter. So that's my 1 cup, and then I'm going to take 2 3/4 cups of flour and add it there too. Let's go. That's 1 batch, and that's 2. I never quite tried like saving the batter. Maybe I should try that, like saving the batter so I don't have to bake everything. I can just do half of the batter and then save the rest. I've not tried that. We'll try that. So baking soda and baking powder. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons. So let's get our thing and put it in there. Oh man, this is another one I like. So 1 and 2 of baking powder. And then I thought I had 2 baking powders for me. I was like, oh no! So I know this is baking soda. I just have to make sure. So 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Growing up, when I used to bake, I used to wonder what's the whole purpose of baking powder and baking soda. It helps your baking stuff or your baking treats become very fluffy and soft, and it allows it to rise. So I'm like, oh, it's really important bacon. Anyways, so now we have that. We're gonna have, the recipe calls for half a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt. Let's go. And it's most of this recipe, everything calls for room temperature butter, room temperature eggs. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So that's what 1 teaspoon of salt. I use sea salt. Use whatever salt you like. I wish I could play music here. I would just be bopping and dancing. Hey, if I can. Now you add all your dry ingredients. You mix it, and set it aside. Now we're gonna do our wet ingredients. So we're gonna add here butter and sugar. That's always the case. When you start your chocolate chip cookies, it's always butter and sugar. So that's why you need your butter at room temperature, because you need to be able to mix it. They don't want it melted. You need to be able to mix your butter, so that's why. So 1 cup of butter, and then we're gonna add our sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, and then you're gonna mix it and whisk it until it gets creamy. Ideally, you should use a whip. So handheld mixer coming to the rescue. I'm gonna have to move I didn't want to use it because I have to move my plug, and I don't want to move my plug. I guess I have no choice now. So I'm just scrape all this out. Then I'm going to use my mixer and cream it. I have to move my mixer because my plug's not here. And the nearest plug I have is over there. Maybe I'll just stay here, right? Why not? Turn my back towards you guys. I'm just joking. Let me just plug it over. So it kind of reaches. Oh, I'm lucky. It does reach. Yay! So I'm gonna. Yay, it does reach. I didn't think it would. Alright, so let's mix this. So you're creaming it for about 2 minutes. So now they want me to add the eggs slowly. So you add it one at a time. Don't just add 4 eggs at once. Add it one at a time. We have 1 more egg to go. So again, the recipe calls for 2 eggs, but I'm doing 4. So let's grip the sides. Get all the goodness out of there. That's good. Let's put it on our napkin and keep mixing. So this recipe now calls for me to add our Greek yogurt, or you can use sour cream. So it's half a cup. I'm doing a cup. You already know why. You already know why. So this is about a cup. Not bad. This is a cup. I measured it actually. So now what Greek yogurt does, it makes the muffins very moist. If you put yogurt in your chicken or your meats, you know it tenderizes the chicken, makes it a little bit moist. So we have our Greek yogurt there. We beat it again. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, but like I said, it's going to be 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, with the wet ingredients. So 1/4 again, you would double that. I'm using evaporated milk. Use whatever you want. If you have whole milk, use whole milk. Whatever you want, use it. It's not a crime. Recipes again, it's about making it your own. Using the recipes or the list ingredients as a base, and then making it your own. Now we mix it again. I keep this spam. I'm going to just divide the blueberries in half. And what you do with this half, yeah, so with this, less than that. So with this portion, I'm going to add flour to this. What the flour does, it coats the blueberries, and it doesn't, it basically, you're supposed to take a teaspoon. So it doesn't allow the blueberries to sink in. You know, so that's like as soon as you put it, it doesn't allow the blueberry to sink in. So you just mix that in, coat it in flour. So that's how it should look. So it's now time to mash half of our blueberries. I'm mashing that in just to give the blueberry muffin some blue tint. After that, we're going to take our mashed blueberries, pour it into our batter. Then we're going to take our fold it in, and then take our wet batter and then pour it into the dry ingredients bowl. So scraping that out, and I'm gonna mix. When that's done, we're going to add our other half of our unmashed blueberries and fold it over. That's it. So here I'm using my 3x4 muffin tin pan. So it yields about 24 muffins. I'm using 2 3x4s, so it yields about 24. And I also love these silicone muffin tins of muffin wrappers. I've been using it for a long time. It works very well, very versatile. So we'll spoon the batter into the tins, and then we're going to add our topping. Add a topping all over. It clumps up, so it's easy to grab and it's not falling all over the place. Once that's done, put it in the oven, set it for 425 for 5 minutes, and then 18 minutes at 350, and this is what you get. I hope you try this recipe. Enjoy, and until my next video, I will catch you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.